Have you ever wished you could just stop everything, just for a moment, to catch your breath, to think, to act? Imagine possessing that extraordinary ability, the power to press a cosmic pause button. For 10 whole, uninterrupted seconds, the universe would halt its relentless march, all at your command. What incredible thoughts, what subtle actions could fill such a brief yet profound interval? This isn't merely a flight of fancy plucked from the pages of a comic book. It's a gateway to pondering the very nature of time itself, and our unique place within its unceasing, often overwhelming flow. The implications are as vast and as wondrous as the cosmos. Picture the scene with me. You decide to activate your unique power. Instantly, the world around you freezes solid. A bird, wings outstretched in mid-flap, hangs motionless in the azure sky, a perfect feathered sculpture against the canvas of the clouds. Raindrops, only moments ago descending in a torrent, transform into a cascade of suspended, glittering diamonds, each one a tiny, frozen jewel reflecting the ambient light. People surrounding you are caught mid-gesture, mid-sentence, their expressions locked in a fleeting moment of life, unaware of your temporal manipulation. You, however, remain perfectly animate. You are the sole actor on a silent, static stage, a privileged observer of a stilled world. What would it feel like to be the only conscious, moving entity in a completely frozen world? The sudden, absolute absence of sound, of motion, might be initially disorienting, almost eerie. Then perhaps a sense of immense, unparalleled freedom would wash over you. The freedom to observe, completely unobserved. The freedom to scrutinize the intricate details of a moment that is typically lost in the relentless blur of daily life. You could study the delicate, almost invisible patterns on a butterfly's wing as it hovers, now perfectly still, over a flower. Or you could examine the complex interplay of emotions on a friend's face during a pivotal conversation, all without the usual pressure of an immediate response. This 10-second hiatus, this brief temporal gift, isn't really about rewriting history or performing grand, world-altering feats. In such a remarkably short window of opportunity, the scale of any intervention is necessarily small, almost insignificant on a cosmic scale. But its true value lies in the personal, the immediate, the intimate. It's a chance for a quick, unseen adjustment, a moment of profound, uninterrupted reflection, or a fleeting, decisive advantage in a personal situation. It's about experiencing the universe from a perspective no other human could possibly comprehend. It's your personal secret, a tiny pocket of temporal sovereignty, a taste of what it means to step outside the flowing river of time, even if only for a few precious heartbeats. Now let's delve into the fascinating question, how could such a remarkable feet-freezing time itself actually be possible? We must explore the science even if our exploration veers confidently into the realm of the highly speculative and theoretical. Time, as the brilliant Albert Einstein illuminated for us more than a century ago, isn't an independent entity, ticking away uniformly for everyone everywhere. It's intricately woven together with space to form the very fabric of reality, space-time. So stopping time for a localized area might involve creating a temporary localized distortion, a kind of bubble, if you will. Within this extraordinary bubble, the progression of time as we universally know it ceases for everything, and everyone except for you, the conscious operator of this phenomenal power. Imagine this bubble of timelessness expanding outward from your very being at an unimaginable speed, perhaps even exceeding the cosmic speed limit of light, to instantly encompass your immediate surroundings. Everything it touches, the air molecules dancing around you, the light photons streaming from the sun, the sound waves carrying distant conversations would instantly freeze in place, their motion arrested. This explains why the world would fall utterly silent and potentially dark from your perspective. No new light or sound could enter the bubble from the frozen exterior. You'd be encased in a perfectly preserved snapshot of a single moment, a silent, still diorama where you are the only dynamic element. But if everything around you, down to the very atoms, is frozen solid, how do you continue to move, to think, and to act? This is a crucial and rather tricky point to consider. You would undoubtedly need your own personal temporal field, a sort of localized time flow that insulates you from the general stasis imposed on the rest of the world. Your heart must keep beating its rhythmic pattern, your neurons must keep firing their electrical signals, your lungs must continue to draw breath. Essentially, you're not just stopping time out there, you're also meticulously ensuring your own time continues to flow normally within your personal protective bubble. You become an island of activity in an ocean of absolute stillness, a living, breathing paradox. And what occurs when your designated 10 seconds are finally up? Does the universe creak slowly back into motion like an old machine restarting, or does it snap back instantaneously as if a switch has been flipped? The most dramatic and perhaps the most scientifically plausible within this fictional context scenario is an instant resumption of normal temporal flow. The bird continues its flight exactly where it left off, as if nothing ever happened. The suspended raindrops complete their journey to the ground. Conversations pick up precisely mid-word. For everyone else in the affected area, no time has passed whatsoever. It would be a seamless, undetectable transition, their reality entirely uninterrupted while you alone carry the vivid memory of those 10 extraordinary, uniquely silent seconds. 10 seconds. It might seem like an incredibly brief span of time when measured against the backdrop of our daily lives. A mere blip on the expansive radar of our existence, almost gone before we register it. Yet, when you command those seconds, when the rest of the world is utterly, completely still, those 10 seconds can stretch into a miniature eternity, brimming with untapped potential and unique opportunities. Think of the simple, everyday advantages this could confer. You're about to trip clumsily over an unseen obstacle on the sidewalk. Freeze! You step gracefully around it. Unfreeze. You continue on your way, a minor disaster neatly and silently averted, your dignity intact. The potential for lighthearted, harmless mischief is undeniably tempting, isn't it? Imagine you find yourself in a rather dull, interminable lecture or meeting. Freeze time. You could gently place a funny, brightly colored hat on the oblivious lecturer's head. Or you might subtly rearrange small items on a colleague's meticulously organized desk, just enough to cause a moment of harmless, amusing confusion later on in their day. You could, without a doubt, win any staring contest ever initiated, hands down. Or if you're feeling particularly theatrical, you could freeze time mid-argument, strike a dramatic, thoughtful pose, and then unfreeze, leaving your verbal sparring partner utterly bewildered by your sudden, inexplicable shift in demeanor and apparent deep contemplation. Beyond the playful and the mischievous, consider the more serious, even critical applications of such a power. A surgeon, performing an incredibly delicate and life-altering operation, could pause time for a final critical assessment before making an irreversible incision, thereby ensuring the utmost precision and success. A brave firefighter navigating the treacherous interior of a burning, collapsing structure could use those precious 10 seconds to identify the safest possible escape route, or to locate an individual trapped amidst the smoke and debris. In high-stakes situations, a brief moment of absolute stillness for clear, unhindered thought and careful observation could quite literally be a lifesaver, turning the tide in critical moments where every fraction of a second counts. And what about those moments of pure, unadulterated curiosity that drives so much of human discovery? You witness a magician perform an incredible, seemingly impossible trick on stage, freeze time. You could then step closer, perhaps even onto the stage, and meticulously examine the setup, unveiling the clever secret behind the captivating illusion. Or perhaps you find yourself at an exhilarating sporting event. Freeze time just as the winning goal is scored. You could walk onto the field and see the raw expressions of ecstatic joy and crushing despair on every single face, capturing a perfect, multifaceted emotional snapshot of that pivotal moment in time. These 10 seconds allow for unparalleled observation. Every fantastical power, if it were to somehow manifest in our reality, would surely come with its own intricate set of rules, paradoxes, and inherent limitations. If you freeze time, what about the very air that surrounds you? If all the air molecules are rendered stationary, locked in place, how would you possibly breathe? Perhaps your personal time bubble, the one that keeps you animate, also includes a small, continuously refreshed supply of breathable air. Or maybe, for those brief 10 seconds, your body's complex metabolic needs, including the need for oxygen, are somehow temporarily suspended or significantly altered by the same mechanism that allows you to move. The physics of interacting with a frozen environment presents a fascinating array of complex challenges. Then there's the rather thorny question of physical interaction with objects in the frozen world. If you move an object within the frozen time frame, say, you decide to pick up a glass of water from a table, what happens to that glass when time resumes its normal flow? Does it retain the momentum you imparted to it during the stasis? If so, even a gently pushed object could potentially fly off at an unexpected and perhaps dangerous velocity. This strongly suggests that any physical interaction might need to be incredibly subtle, or perhaps you can only truly affect things that are also encompassed within your personal, active time bubble. Otherwise, you risk causing unintended and potentially chaotic consequences upon unfreezing the scene. How often could you wield such a remarkable and reality-bending ability? Is it an unlimited resource available at your beck and call whenever you desire? Or does its use come at a significant personal or even cosmic cost? Perhaps activating the time freeze drains a substantial amount of your own personal energy, requiring a lengthy and inconvenient recovery period between uses. Or, on a grander, more cosmological scale, maybe each use puts a tiny, imperceptible strain on the very fabric of space-time itself, making frequent or prolonged use highly inadvisable. Such scarcity would certainly make each 10-second pause an incredibly precious and carefully considered event, not to be squandered on trivialities or minor whims. Ultimately, the concept of freezing time, even for a mere 10 seconds, serves as a profound and engaging thought experiment. It compels us to reflect deeply on the fundamental nature of time, our subjective perception of its passage, and the intricate, unbreakable dance of cause and effect that governs every event in our universe. While such an ability remains firmly, for now, in the realm of pure imagination and science fiction, pondering the implications of such a power is a delightful and stimulating mental exercise. So I leave you with this final personal question. If you were granted this 10-second cosmic pause, this fleeting mastery over the rushing moment, what singular thing would you choose to do? Your answer might just reveal something interesting about what you truly value.